Kat Richter will be in left field. Autumn Eastis in center. Audrey Hendricks is the right fielder. Third baseman is Keely Franks. Jody Reeves, the shortstop. Lindsey Gardner over at second base. Trisha Tatro is the first baseman. Marlo Hanks behind the plate, and Charla Moore is the pitcher.
Well, I like Charla Moore. She's a fierce competitor who brings a tremendous amount of intensity to the mound. As a sophomore, her ERA was a 1.65, and she has improved this season. She's checking in with a 1.51.
And let's take a look at the Texas A&M batting order that will be facing Charla Moore today. Angie Long is the leadoff hitter. She'll be followed by Crystal Martin. Selena Collins batting third. Tiffany Esters is the cleanup hitter, followed by Kelly Ferguson, Lisa Clam, Jennifer Davis in the number 7 hole, Angie Shetler, and Holly Hayden, the number 9 batter for the Texas A&M Aggies. Texas A&M and Texas, big rivals in any sport. Softball certainly no exception as we take a look at the umpires here. Robert Elizondo behind the plate, Jerry Bark down at first base, and Louis Alvarez is the third base umpire. But a great day for softball here, Alyssa, and two rivals ready to go at it.
Well, I just want to go back to my point in the opening statement today was that the Big 12 Conference Tournament, Brian, of course, is 2 weeks away. So both of these teams trying to pick up a win today and gain some momentum going to that.
And we're just about set to get started here. Angie Long will lead it off for the Texas Aggies. She's a senior from Manteca, California, the first baseman for Texas A&M, and she will be facing Charla Moore here. Angie Long, you see her numbers 319 on the season, no home runs and 12 RBIs. And the first pitch from Charla Moore misses, and it's 1-0 to start the game.
And just to kind of preview Charla Moore, she does throw a screwball. She's got a curve. She's got a backhanded changeup. She'll throw a number of options on the mound.
Charla Moore, a junior from Pasadena, Texas. Second pitch is in there for a strike, and she is on a hot streak. She has won her last 5 starts, and over those 5 games, a 0.47 ERA. She's had 17 strikeouts and holding opponents to just a 153 batting average. She goes for her 6th straight win here today. That pitch misses, and it's 2-1.
Well, what I like about Charla Moore, she just has so much confidence on the mound. She takes it one pitch at a time, and when you're a pitcher, boy, confidence, that is the key. That is the name of the game.
And she has a lot of confidence against Texas A&M. A month ago, she threw a 2-hitter in an 8-0 Texas victory as Angie Long takes another strike. And in fact, Angie Long, the only Aggie batter to get a hit. She got both of those hits against Charla Moore in the Texas 8-0 victory in College Station.
Now, Charla Moore certainly very deceptive, and a smile on the face of Connie Clark, the head coach at the University of Texas.
Angie Long just gets a piece of that, and it stays 2-2. Another great crowd here at McCombs Field. Some of their best crowds in the short history of this new facility have been for Texas A&M and Oklahoma, the big rivals of Texas. No surprise, another great crowd today. 2-2 to Angie Long here in the top of the first inning, just getting started, and Charla Moore gets started with a strikeout. Angie Long goes down swinging for the first out of the game.
Well, they describe Charla Moore as a devastating pitcher. She can throw a number of options at you, and she's so lethal. She can get you swinging, gets that ball coming up high, and she's out of there.
Her 108th strikeout on the season, and it brings up Crystal Martin for Texas A&M. Crystal Martin, a freshman from Arlington, Texas. She takes a ball, and it's 1-0. Crystal Martin on the season, batting .298, no home runs, 5 RBIs.
Crystal Martin, certainly a special player for Texas A&M. Joe Evans describes her as a great athlete, and she really can be a contributor and maybe become one of the premier players within the Big 12 Conference, this great conference.
She takes a strike, and it's 1-1. Robert Elizondo pretty deliberate behind the plate and calling the strikes here today. 1-1 to Crystal Martin here in the top of the first inning. And that one just catches the outside corner, and it's 1-2, and Charla Moore getting ahead of the Aggie batters here early.
Well, Charla Moore certainly has solidified the pitching position. Of course, some question marks coming in to this season for the head coach Connie Clark because Krista Williams committed to the 2000 Olympics. And so their prized possession, their prized pitcher, decided not to come back for her final year of eligibility. So getting the green light has been Charla Moore. They've been platooning her and Carmen Martinez. We may see her if Charla gets into some trouble this afternoon.
Crystal Martin stays alive at 1-2, and what a difference it would make if Texas were to have Krista Williams on this roster as Martin fouls it off once again. A 1996 Olympic pitcher, and she's going to pitch again in the 2000 Olympics, as you mentioned. All-American for Texas, just the 4th year for varsity softball here, and they've already had 4 All-Americans in their brief tenure. Already been to the Women's College World Series, the youngest program to ever do that back in 1998. And the defending Big 12 tournament champions, as that one just misses, and we go to 2-2 to Crystal Martin.
Well, Connie Clark, the head coach at Texas, tabbed as one of the great young coaches in the country. Certainly, as you said, this is a young program. It's on the move. They've had 3 years of varsity, 1 year of club coaching, and certainly has done a great job. She's only in her 5th season here at UT.
The 2-2 pitch to Crystal Martin, and again, she stays alive, fighting off that pitch.
Certainly so much speed on that pitch. Crystal Martin able to get a piece of it. Maybe she can straighten that out.
2-2 to Crystal Martin. Texas coming in with a 6-game winning streak. They have won 14 of their last 17 games. And really starting to play well as we head towards postseason play. And another strike. Crystal Martin watches strike 3 there, and 2 batters and 2 strikeouts on the game for Charla Moore.
Boy, you really have to tip your hat to Charla Moore. You talk about the off-speed pitch, just slowing it down, forces her to think about it, and going across the heart of the plate.
So Selena Collins will step in, a freshman from Glendale, Arizona. The catcher who we talked about at the open of the show, batting .331 with 4 home runs, 28 RBIs.
And get ready, Brian. She has the lethal bat. She does provide the power in the lineup for the Aggies, and she's self-assured, very confident. She'll step up to that plate, and boy, she can connect.
Very unusual to have 2 very good programs being led in hitting by freshmen. Texas, of course, led by Lindsey Gardner, and Selena Collins, the freshman, leading Texas A&M, and it's 2-0 to her.
Certainly that goes back to showing the strength of this conference. All these programs are recruiting some of the top athletes in the country. Texas, first and foremost, they want to keep those athletes in state.
Yeah, there's plenty of athletes to recruit in the state of Texas as Selena Collins finds the hole and gets a single. So Texas A&M gets their first hit of the game with Selena Collins singling into left field, and it brings up Tiffany Esters for the Aggies.
When I talked to head coach Joe Evans, she said that most importantly, they have got to get some runners on base, and Selena Collins certainly getting it done, doing a nice job of splitting the defenders.
Tiffany Esters, a junior from Burleson, Texas, steps in for the Aggies, batting .307. Check that, .252, 3 home runs and 22 RBIs. Second team all Big 12 pick a year ago. Swings at a high one there, and it's 0-1.
And Tiffany certainly will gamble at the plate. She's not apprehensive whatsoever, very aggressive, and they describe her as a very competitive player on this team. She really gives the Aggies a boost.
Batted .311 a year ago. That one just misses, and it's 1-1 to Tiffany Esters, with Selena Collins down at first base and 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. Texas going for the sweep of their rivals, the Texas A&M Aggies. They won last month in College Station 8-0, and Texas going for their 7th consecutive victory here today on a beautiful day in Austin.
Of course, a week ago, Brian, we were in Norman, Oklahoma, the great rivalry between Oklahoma, OSU, and this is a great in-state rivalry between the Aggies and the Longhorns.
A lot of great rivalries and a lot more developing as the Big 12 gains in its power. And Texas, of course, one of the new softball programs. Texas A&M has been around for several years, 3 times national champions. And it didn't take long for the Texas Longhorns to build a solid program here in Austin.
Well, the guy you're talking about that had 3 national championships was Bob Brock. He was with the Aggies for 15 years.
Pop fly down the third base line, and Jody Reeves, the All-American shortstop for Texas, is there to make the out. And the inning is over. We head to the bottom of the first inning. Texas A&M nothing. Texas coming to bat.
Spring fever is in the air, and with the change of the season comes huge spring savings at Douglas Nissan. Hi folks, Tracy Baker here for Douglas Nissan. Come check out this '99 Subaru Forester. All-wheel drive, 0 down, and only $328 a month. Or how about this beautiful Chrysler Sebring convertible? Just in time for spring, 0 down, only $242 a month. Remember, our prices will not be beat. Douglas Nissan, where customer satisfaction is #1.
If you're in an accident and it's the other guy's fault, dealing with the other guy's insurance company might not be so easy.
After all, sir, who hit whom?
Sir, I know you need a rental car, but before we can authorize that, you need to come in and give us your statement.
But, sir, I can't see your file.
Oh, no.
Fred Davis, a board-certified personal injury lawyer, helps injury victims. Your first visit's free and there's no obligation. Davis & Davis, we're here to help.
Texas. Brian Brinkley along with Alyssa Walker-Campbell. The Texas Longhorns coming to bat here in the bottom of the first inning. This is the Texas A&M defense. Holly Hayden in left field. Angie Shetler is in center. Tiffany Esters in right. Jennifer Davis, the third baseman. Crystal Martin at shortstop. Lisa Clams at second base. Angie Long at first base. Selena Collins behind the plate. And the pitcher, Carol Weichel.
Well, Carol Weichel certainly is the future for the Aggies. A young talent. Her best pitch is the off-speed. She's developed a good drop ball, throws a ground ball, but she has certainly received a lot of praise from the head coach, Joe Evans.
And here's the lineup Carol Weichel will be facing for the Texas Longhorns. Lindsey Gardner, the freshman who we talked about, leads it off, followed by Audrey Hendricks and Keely Franks. Jody Reeves in the cleanup spot. Kat Richter is the number 5 hitter, followed by Marlo Hanks, Autumn Eastis, Trisha Tatro, and Courtney Ryan. The designated player will bat 9th for the Texas Longhorns. As we get set here for the bottom of the first inning, Texas A&M unable to score in the top of the first, and Lindsey Gardner will step in.
What a great way to start things off with Lindsey Gardner. If I was a betting woman, I'd certainly put my cash on her because she is the offensive leader and she always manages to find a way to get on base.
You see those incredible numbers, 412 on the season, and again a freshman, and she's batting .500 in conference play. Second in the Big 12 in hitting and first in the Big 12 in conference games. As you look at Texas A&M coach Joe Evans calling out some instructions as Lindsey Gardner steps in to face Carol Weichel. Carol Weichel, a freshman from Littleton, Colorado, had a back injury in the fall that she's had to battle back from, but as you mentioned, a good array of pitches, and she gets the big start here against the rivals, the Texas Longhorns, and is set to throw the first pitch here in the bottom of the first.
After talking with head coach Joe Evans, she said it's so paramount for the Aggies. They have got to come out of the gates very, very strong defensively and can't allow those Longhorns to get on base.
First pitch in there for a strike to Lindsey Gardner. A little off-speed pitch there, misses, and it's 1-1. Lindsey Gardner comes in with a 9-game hitting streak.
Batting a .621.
Amazing. She has already broken the Texas freshman record for hits, and she will set a few more records before she is done, I have a feeling. She lines that one into center field, and that's in for a base hit. So Lindsey Gardner's hitting streak is now up to 10 games, and Texas has the leadoff batter on here as Audrey Hendricks steps in.
And so impressive by Lindsey Gardner, just the placement, taking her time, being very patient at the plate, the nice connection, and most importantly, getting on base.
So a good start for Texas as Audrey Hendricks steps in, sophomore from Surrey, British Columbia. As you see, Lindsey Gardner now up to a 10-game hitting streak. That's Lindsey Gardner's mom watching. Throw down to first base, but Gardner is back safely. Selena Collins trying for the pickoff, not there in time. Audrey Hendricks at the plate batting .295, 2 home runs, 21 RBIs. And that first pitch was out of the zone, and it's 1-0.
And 11 for 22 with 3 runs and 6 RBIs in the last 8 games. So very proficient.
Lindsey Gardner heads down to second base, and she is in safely. The throw from Selena Collins not in time, and Lindsey Gardner with her 16th stolen base of the season.
16 for 21 on stolen bases. And this is the thing that Lindsey Gardner, she has great foot speed. She is so aggressive, not intimidated, and not afraid to get a little dirt on her.
Just slips the hand in there, and it's 2-0 to Audrey Hendricks. So Texas already with a runner in scoring position here in the bottom of the first inning against Carol Weichel. Hendricks tries to lay down the bunt, but it's foul, and it'll be 2-1. Audrey Hendricks from Surrey, British Columbia, as we said. She went to the University of British Columbia, but they do not play varsity softball there. And then she transferred to Texas, so she has 4 full years to play here at the University of Texas. Started 30 games a year ago in the outfield.
Really was used as a utility player last year, but certainly saw quality time. As you said, Brian, started 30 games.
Batted .234 with 7 RBIs a year ago.
Obviously,
shows bunt there, but does not, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, I was going to say, Hendricks obviously using a little strategy here. She's not going to just try to power the ball, but she wants to be a runner on base.
2-2 with Lindsey Gardner down at second base. She singled and stole it. As Carol Weichel working with no outs here in the bottom of the first inning. That one's fouled off, and it stays 2-2 to Audrey Hendricks. Texas comes in 11-3 in conference play. They're a half game behind Nebraska for second place in the Big 12 standings. Oklahoma in first at 15-1. Texas certainly harboring hopes, though, to make the NCAA tournament. They have been hot when it's counted. Little chopper goes over third base into left field, but Lindsey Gardner will check up at third base, and it's a single, and runners at the corners here for the Longhorns with nobody out in the bottom of the first.
The Aggies now in a precarious type position, as you said, with runners on first and third. Once again, making the connection. Defensively, the Aggies with a little bit of an error there.
Jennifer Davis unable to grab it down at third base, and it brings up Keely Franks.
Certainly being on that third base, it's tough because the sun is right in your eyes.
Keely Franks, a senior from Trophy Club, Texas, steps in, batting .289 with 3 home runs, 30 RBIs. She's got a chance to drive in some runs here with runners on the corners and nobody out. Keely Franks, a first-team All-Big 12 selection a year ago, first-team All-Midwest region, and the only Longhorn to start all 62 games a year ago.
O'Brien, she's coming off a stellar performance. She was 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored, 1 RBI versus Oklahoma State, and of course Texas coming off 2 wins versus OSU.
First pitch in there for a strike from Carol Weichel. Texas sweeping the Cowgirls last weekend, as you mentioned, winning in 10 innings and then winning by a run rule 9-1. And Texas A&M coming off 4 consecutive losses. They were beaten by Nebraska 2-0 twice last weekend, and then lost a doubleheader to Baylor last night in Waco. That pitch misses, and it's 1-1. And Aggies really struggling coming in, and no easy test taking on the Longhorns in Austin.
Well, one of the weaknesses of this Aggies team is that they've been very streaky, and they're having a difficult time finding consistency on the season, and they really need to maintain their focus.
Franks lays down the bunt. Jennifer Davis fields it, thinks about home, then throws to first. The throw bounces off of Keely Franks, and everybody is safe, and Texas has a run home. It's 1-0 with still nobody out in the bottom of the first. And we'll have to see how they rule it. I believe it's going to be an infield hit. Jennifer Davis thought about going home to try to get Lindsey Gardner, instead went to first base. And they have not put up a hit or an error just yet. But the fact is, Texas has runners on the corner still with nobody out, and a cleanup hitter, Jody Reeves, stepping in.
Obviously, the Aggies right now, the infield getting together, regrouping. They've got to get focused.
See Keely Franks in the Big 12 with her RBI total. And she will get credit for another one there. I believe they still have not put up either a hit or an error. Jody Reeves steps in for the Longhorns, batting .267 with 2 home runs and 19 RBIs. Jody Reeves, a senior from Kingwood, Texas.
She's got some impressive credentials, All-American, All-Region standout, very athletic shortstop.
First pitch to Jody Reeves is in there for a strike. She came into this season either holding or tied for 32 offensive records at Texas. And some of these records we talk about with the Texas Longhorns have to be taken with a grain of salt because it's a very young program, only in their 4th year of varsity play. So there's a lot of players out here who hold career and season records for the Longhorns. That one fouled off, and it's 0-2, but you can't take away what this program has already accomplished. Again, the Women's College World Series in '98. They won the Big 12 tournament a year ago. And were it not for the loss of Krista Williams, would probably be a contender to win the Big 12 again this season.
Well, it's just amazing. Of course, they had 45 wins last year, went 45-17. Their final national ranking, where they were 18th.
0-2 to Jody Reeves with 2 on. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning. That pitch misses, and it's 1-2. Carol Weichel in a jam here already in the bottom of the first against a Texas team that beat the Aggies 8-0 back on March 29th in College Station.
Well, think about the Aggies. They do have a lot of depth at the pitching position, so if Carol Weichel continues to struggle, they will insert Amy Vining. She's got a pretty good ERA at 175, but the thing about Weichel is obviously just a freshman, a 5'10 freshman. She's got to take it one pitch at a time, one batter at a time, and really keep her level of confidence up.
2-2 to Jody Reeves. Audrey Hendricks down at third base, and Keely Franks at first. It goes to the first baseman, Angie Long, and she throws home and gets Audrey Hendricks trying to score. So the first out of the game is recorded for the Aggies on a nice play by Angie Long, throwing to Selena Collins, and there's one down.
Great defensive play by the Aggies to stop Audrey Hendricks from advancing at home. Forget about the runner on first. There you see the good defensive play and the nice throw-in.
And Selena Collins applying the tag. So one out here in the bottom of the first inning. Keely Franks moves on to second base, and Jody Reeves at first. Kat Richter is the batter for Texas. Junior from Austin, Texas. And on the season batting .269 with 5 home runs, 13 RBIs. One of the Longhorns team captains. So a big play by Angie Long to get the lead runner, and now Carol Weichel working with one out, and runners on first and second here in the bottom of the first. That one's lined into right field. That'll be a base hit. Heading home is Keely Franks. She will be in there, and moving on to third base is Jody Reeves. It's an RBI single for Kat Richter, and Texas has a 2-0 lead on the Aggies.
Well, I've got in my game notes Kathleen Richter. They describe her as a power hitter. She's got the lethal bat, and she is not intimidated or afraid whatsoever of Carol Weichel's pitches. Very aggressive at the plate. Taking the pitch, coming right across the plate, the nice connection, and most importantly, the great placement in right field and forcing those runners to advance.
So runners on the corners still for Texas with a 2-0 lead, and Marlo Hanks steps in. Freshman from Kingwood, Texas. She chops that one foul at the plate, and it's 0-1. Marlo Hanks batting .209, no home runs, 3 RBIs on the season.
Struck out 12 times, but very consistent at the plate, and where she really receives a lot of praises for her defensive ability. She's a first-year catcher, exceptionally strong and quick. She's got great upper body strength, so she can also place the ball anywhere.
Texas has several players they can go to play the catching position. That one inside, and it may have hit her, and it did. So moving on down to first base is Marlo Hanks, and now the bases are loaded. As Autumn Eastis will step in, we'll take another look at that one.
Marlo Hanks at the plate, and it looked like that pitch went a little too far inside. Definitely hit her, and so most importantly for Texas, that she's going to advance.
And so with the bases loaded and just one out here in the bottom of the first inning, Texas A&M head coach Joe Evans will come to the mound and talk with her pitcher Carol Weichel, as the Aggies find themselves trailing 2-0 with just one out. And the base is still loaded, and this is a key early part of the game. Texas A&M can't let this thing get away from them too early here.
Well, in talking with head coach Joe Evans, she said what really concerns her, even though there is a number of seniors on this team, there's like 7 seniors, she said primarily there's so many young players on this team, so they're still learning, trying to gain that experience in Big 12 conference play. But I tell you, Carol Weichel, she has really got to get her confidence back on the mound because Texas is just continuing to build with the momentum.
Saw a quick look at Amy Vining down in the bullpen warming up, and that may have been a trip to the mound for Joe Evans to just get Amy Vining some more time. She was the starting pitcher against Texas back in March.
What I like about Amy Vining, though, is she is completely different than Carol Weichel. Amy Vining is a power pitcher. I mean, she has tremendous speed.
Bases loaded, one out here in the first inning. Little check swing. It goes to the shortstop, Crystal Martin, and over to third base for the double play. So that's a good way to get out of a jam. A double play as Crystal Martin makes the stab at shortstop and throws over to third baseman Jennifer Davis. And Texas A&M gets out of the jam. We head to the top of the second inning after one complete from Austin. It's Texas 2 and Texas A&M nothing.
Check your vision. Why don't you cover your left eye for me?
Okay, when class is on first.
On, please.
Thompson Country Ford.
JC put a little country in the name to remind folks that everything really is simpler in the country. And this little Navasota dealership has won Ford's North American Customer Excellence Award 9 years running. You'll find everything to look at that you'd find at the big stores north and south of Navasota. But it's the way you're treated while you're looking and after you've bought that's won them all those awards. Thompson Country Ford in Navasota, where country values will always get you the best deal.
Back at McCombs Field in Austin, Texas, along with Alyssa Walker-Campbell, I'm Brian Brinkley. After one complete, it is Texas 2, Texas A&M nothing. Longhorns threatened to get more there in the bottom of the first, but a great double play to get Carol Weichel out of the jam, and a big defensive play here early.
I certainly look for Charlotte Moore, though, coming out very strong once again on the mound. They want to shut down the Aggies, not allow them to get in any type of scoring position, and most importantly, not allow any runners to get on base.
Kelly Ferguson will lead off the top of the second for Texas A&M. She will be followed by Lisa Clam and Jennifer Davis. Kelly Ferguson, a sophomore from Sugar Land, Texas, batting .307 on the season with 2 home runs, 14 RBIs. Underwent elbow surgery in the offseason and has improved a lot defensively, and in the lineup actually here is a designated player today. Transfer from Texas San Antonio, where she was the All-Southland Conference Newcomer of the Year. Moved on to Texas A&M for her sophomore season. The first pitch to her is a ball, and it's 1-0.
Well, the thing I like about Kelly Ferguson is that she really thrives under pressure. She's a gamer. She had the game-winning hit versus Nebraska, as well as the 7-inning hit with the 8-4 win versus Iowa State. So she loves the Big 12 Conference play, and she certainly loves how competitive it is.
Strike in from Charlotte Moore, and it's 1-1. Moore struck out the first 2 batters of the game, then gave up a single to Selena Collins, and got out of the inning on a pop fly to the shortstop in the first. And here we are in the second with a 1-1 count. Check swing and a foul ball off the bat of Kelly Ferguson, and it's 1-2.
Charlotte Moore has really impressed me. She has just shown great command of several different pitches. Of course, I'd mentioned earlier, she'll throw the screwball, the curve, a number of different options that she has.
Charlotte Moore second in the Big 12 in conference earned run average at 0.94. Really mirroring the way the Texas team has come on strong here in conference play. That pitch misses, and it's 2-2. But in softball, a lot of the time, you're only as good as your pitching can make you, and that's the way Texas has gone this season.
You're only as good as your last pitch, right, Brian?
That's right.
But what I'm thinking, too, is that I'm sure that Krista Williams was a great mentor for Charlotte Moore.
Yeah, that's not a bad pitcher to learn from, as Kelly Ferguson singles into left field. So Texas A&M with the leadoff hitter on here in the second. And it brings up Lisa Clam, a sophomore from Katy, Texas, and already a co-captain on the Texas A&M Aggies, certainly one of their leaders, although she's just a sophomore, batting .284 with 6 home runs, 26 RBIs. The 6 homers leading the Aggies in that category.
Well, I love how they describe her. They say that she swings for the fences, that she's lethal offensively, and so obviously very aggressive at the plate.
Joe Evans coming down to talk to home plate umpire Robert Elizondo. And we have a pinch runner, as Cheryl Fowler has come in to pinch run for Kelly Ferguson. Lisa Clam at the plate, a second-team All-Big 12 pick a year ago. Started all 63 games for the Aggies, batted .348 with 15 home runs. Turns to bunt there and fouls that one off.
And that's what the game plan looks like it's going to be at this point. Lisa Clam maybe just going to bunt and try to get on base and get themselves in a little bit better of scoring position. So that's one of the areas that the Aggies have really struggled as far as their confidence at the plate. That was a point of emphasis and a real concern for when I talked to head coach Joe Evans earlier today.
0-1 to Lisa Clam as Charlotte Moore works with a runner on here in the second. Pitch out and the throw down to first base, but Cheryl Fowler is back in safely, and it's 1-1.
I like the aggressive style out of Cheryl Fowler, not afraid. She wants to go ahead and steal.
Marlo Hanks nearly picking her off down there, but Fowler just got back, leaning the wrong way there, but she just got the hand back in safely.
Once Cheryl Fowler gets off running, she does have great foot speed and quickness.
1-1 to Lisa Clam. That pitch inside, and it's 2-1.
Almost took off the elbows of Lisa Clam. She kind of had to step back just a little bit. That pitch was so far inside.
We saw Charlotte Moore in the first inning with 2 strikeouts. She is really not the strikeout pitcher that Texas usually relies on. It is Martinez, as a long fly ball is curving off foul to the left field side. Carmen Martinez, actually leading Texas in strikeouts, has pitched almost 100 fewer innings than Charlotte Moore, but has more strikeouts. But Moore certainly can do it, coming in with 107 strikeouts and 203 1/3 innings, and she got 2 in the first inning. And we have 2 and 2 on Lisa Clam here in the second.
Well, they really thought coming into this season that Carmen Martinez would be their #1 pitcher after losing Krista Williams. But Charlotte Moore really solidified that position and certainly got it done on that last pitch, Brian.
And she might be changing her reputation as not being a strikeout pitcher. She gets her 3rd of the game as Lisa Clam goes down swinging. And we have our first out here in the second.
What a great job, and certainly most importantly, getting the fans behind the Longhorns right now, and once again continuing with the confidence. That pitch coming up a little bit high, but forcing the Aggies to swing.
So Jennifer Davis steps in with 1 out here in the second. Davis, a freshman from Pearland, Texas. Batting .221, no home runs, 6 RBIs. First pitch misses, and it's 1-0. A lot of young players on this Texas Aggie roster. And that's probably a big reason why they have struggled a bit. 5 and 8 in Big 12 play, 26 and 18 overall.
One of the years they've really struggled is in the batting order with their 3, 4, and 5 hitters.
Little one-hopper down to first base, and actually it was caught on the fly by Keely Franks, and she throws over to first base to get the double play. So for the second straight half inning, we have a double play to end it. We head to the bottom of the second inning. Texas still leading their rivals, Texas A&M, 2-0.
If you're in an accident and it's the other guy's fault, dealing with the other guy's insurance company might not be so easy.
After all, sir, who hit whom?
Sir, I know you need a rental car, but before we can authorize that, you need to come in and give us your statement.
But, sir, I can't see your file.
Oh, no.
Fred Davis, a board-certified personal injury lawyer, helps injury victims. Your first visit's free and there's no obligation. Davis & Davis, we're here to help.
Spring fever is in the air, and with the change of the season comes huge spring savings at Douglas Nissan. Hi folks, Tracy Baker here for Douglas Nissan. Come check out this '99 Subaru Forester. All-wheel drive, 0 down, and only $328 a month. Or how about this beautiful Chrysler Sebring convertible? Just in time for spring, 0 down, only $242 a month. Remember, our prices will not be beat. Douglas Nissan, where customer satisfaction is #1.
Sports Southwest this weekend for another exciting Big 12 series featuring Iowa State at Nebraska, April 28th through the 30th. Friday's game will air live at 6:30 p.m. Saturday's contest can be seen live at 2 p.m. and Sunday's game will air at 1 o'clock. It's the best Big 12 baseball coverage anywhere, only on College Sports Southwest. For more information about College Sports Southwest, call 205-425-6935 or log on to www.collegesportscentral.com. Bottom of the second inning here from Austin, and it's 2-0 Texas. Trisha Tatro will step in for the Longhorns. Takes the first pitch high. Tatro, a junior from Tucson, Arizona. On the season, batting .204, no home runs, 12 RBIs. As we have a new pitcher, Amy Vining, is into the game for Texas A&M. So a tough first inning for Carol Weichel, and she heads out, and she'll be replaced by Amy Vining, who started the Texas game back in March in College Station and gave up the loss. She is 0-5 career against Texas. She has struggled against the Longhorns.
Well, I think it was a smart move, though, by Joe Evans to go ahead and insert her into the lineup. Oh, great hustle play by the Aggies. Good job of keeping her eye on the ball, especially with the sun in her eyes.
Lisa Clam tracks that one down and makes the first out here in the second. Off the bat of Trisha Tatro. Not only having to run a long way, but had to battle the sun, and she was able to snag it just at the foul line.
That's what you call keeping your eye on the ball. But I want to kind of preview a little bit about Amy Vining. She is that power pitcher I was talking about earlier. She does throw in the low 60s and will mix things up. Her best pitch, watch for it, it's the screwball.
The designated player Courtney Ryan steps in, a sophomore from Newport Beach, California, batting .232 on the season, no home runs, 3 RBIs. Courtney Ryan, also a catcher As I said, Texas very deep at that position as it goes to 2-0.
Yeah, they can rotate all kinds of players in and out of the catching position, but Courtney's just trying to rebound from a bruised left hand, which forced her to miss a lot of action last year. In fact, it forced her to miss the entire '99 season, postseason.
That pitch in there from Amy Vining, and it's 2-1. So Carol Weichel only lasts one inning for Texas A&M, and Amy Vining has come in a nice off-speed pitch there.
You talk about changing things up. That probably came in at about 30.
Foul tip there, and it's 2-2 to Courtney Ryan. One out here in the bottom of the second inning with Texas leading 2-0. Courtney Ryan just getting a piece of the ball there. 2-2 pitch is fouled off once again.
And as you said, Brian, Courtney is managing to get a piece of the ball, but she's just got to straighten things out and get it in line.
Take a look at Connie Clark down in the third base coaching box. Her 5th season at Texas, 4th as the varsity coach. They were a club team back in 1996. Ground ball to Crystal Martin down at shortstop. She throws over to Angie Long, and Courtney Ryan is retired for the second out of the inning. And it brings up the top of the order for the Longhorns, Lindsey Gardner.
Great defensive play by Texas A&M, although Texas able to get a piece of that. Here you see the nice snag at shortstop, throwing it to Angie Long on first place with the good stretch.
So Lindsey Gardner steps in. She led off the first with a single, stole second, and later scored the first run of the game.
And you know Lindsey Bryan is probably just stepping up that plate, licking her chops. She can't wait for Amy Vining's pitch.
Phenomenal numbers, and I don't know who else would even be a contender to win the Big 12 Freshman of the Year. She has stepped in and become really one of the best players in the conference.
I know we said the stat earlier, but she's on a 9-game hitting streak, batting a .621.
Connie Clark said that she could not have signed anyone better in the country than Lindsey Gardner out of Katy, Texas, and when you look at her numbers, you think she's probably right. Fouls that one off on the left side, and it's 1-1.
A little bit of a crowd teaser there.
Connie Clark describes her as a very intense competitor, and she has stepped in as a freshman and really done the job, and has even stepped it up in conference play, batting an even .500 in Big 12 games coming into today's game against Texas A&M.
Well, the thing about Lindsey, though, is if she doesn't get the power hit, and she has the ability to at least get on base, she does have great foot speed, and she's very aggressive and not intimidated. She loves to go ahead and try to steal bases.
1-2 to Gardner.
Just a phenomenal athlete, a phenomenal player.
That pitch is high, and it's 2-2. Gardner also leads the Big 12 in on-base percentage in conference games, .549. So more than half the time she is getting on base some way or the other. And that's what you want from your leadoff hitter, and that's certainly why Texas has played well in the last month or so.
Well, we don't have enough time to tell all of Lindsey's stats. There's so many things that she leads her team in, and also in the Big 12. Certainly an asset to this Texas squad.
Full count to Gardner. In fact, you look at the statistics. Gardner batting .412 coming into today's game. No other Texas player is batting over .300. That's how far out ahead of her teammates Gardner is this year. 3-2, 2 outs. And that one just misses, and Lindsey Gardner will get on base once again with the bases on balls, and Audrey Hendricks steps in.
Well, as you saw in that last pitch, Amy Vining just changing things up. At first, she is a power pitcher. She was using a lot of speed, but now just slowing things up a little bit. And Texas, they're heading to first base.
So Audrey Hendricks will step in. Hendricks singled in the first inning and was thrown out on the base pass. And she's got 2 outs here with Lindsey Gardner aboard at first base in the second. Gardner thinks about going, and Selena Collins ready to make the throw, but does not, and it's 1-0 to Hendricks.
That's the thing about Texas. They're a very solid team offensively. They're so proficient. They've got a tremendous amount of power. And we talked about the depth with Texas A&M. Texas has a tremendous amount of depth. They are very competitive position by position.
Pitch out, and they almost had Gardner picked off, but the throw in the dirt down to first base. So Gardner stays alive down at first base, and the pitch off, and it's 2-0. As Ty Singleton, the first base coach for Texas, talking to Lindsey Gardner, trying to tell her need to watch that a little bit. She just about got picked off on the nice pitch out, and the throw from Selena Collins. Line drive foul down the left field line. And Audrey Hendricks will head back to the box with a 2-1 count. Texas trying to add to a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the second inning. 2 outs.
And you know the pressure's on Amy Vining. She wants to get this inning over with. She wants to get that strike.
2-1 pitch, and again Gardner thinking about heading down there. Hendricks takes the strike, and it's 2-2. You know, Amy Vining, with the 0-5 career record, badly wants to get this victory here today against the rival Texas Longhorns. She has had her troubles with Texas in the past. That one fouled off behind home plate and out of play.
The Longhorns, well, Brian, the Longhorns certainly haven't been a good omen for Amy Vining, so she's trying to break the jinx.
As you look at her numbers from the first meeting, she only lasted 2 innings, gave up 4 hits, 4 runs, and Carol Weichel came in to replace her on that afternoon. This time it's the other way around. Once again, Collins throws down to first base, but Gardner is back, and we have a full count to Audrey Hendricks.
And because Amy Vining had struggled versus Texas the last time these two teams squared off, that was the strategy behind Joe Evans today, the head coach, was to go ahead and have Kara Weichel start the game, maybe come out with some confidence and momentum, but she came out and struggled early versus Texas. They're such a powerful offensive team.
That one lifted into left field. Holly Hayden is there and makes the play for Texas A&M for the final out of the inning. So Texas strands a runner here in the bottom of the second inning. We have played 2 complete from Austin. Texas leading Texas A&M 2-0.
Well, they're 2 down in the top of the 7th. These guys got to make a comeback. They better get the bats going soon.
Don't you wish you could scratch and get $1 million? Play Napa's $1 Million Thanks Instant Win game. There are thousands of other prizes, too. Plus, you'll save on hundreds of items. It's our way of thanking you for the last 75 years. Stop by a participating Napa Auto Parts store today.
Life is
challenging.
I am strong. Win
Or lose.
Everyone play. We're ready.
We're ready.
Yeah, we're ready.
Back at McCombs Field here on the campus of the University of Texas in Austin, along with Alyssa Walker-Campbell, I'm Brian Brinkley. Pretty new facility here in Austin. It was opened in February of 1998, one of many Big 12 softball facilities that have recently been built. Red McCombs, the auto dealer and guy who likes to dabble in sports, the Minnesota Vikings, San Antonio Spurs, among others. He and his wife helped fund the facility here. $4.5 million, I believe it took to build this, but a great facility here at Texas for this really very young softball program, but very talented.
Well, you have to think that this is a real asset as far as recruiting athletes. You'll just have a train coming on into Texas because this stadium has all the amenities of a first-class stadium. It's spacious home and visiting team dugouts, coaches' suites, and it opened in February of '98 to a sellout crowd, and almost 40,000 fans have gone through the gates here.
And they love their softball here in Texas. Last season, Texas 3rd in the nation in attendance, trailing only 2 of the softball powers every season, Fresno State and Arizona. Angie Shetler at the plate pops that one up. Keely Franks is under it for the first out of the inning, so 1 pitch and 1 out as Angie Shetler retired for the Aggies, and Holly Hayden will step in.
And that's what Charlotte Moore can force you to do. Not get the power hit, but pop the ball up, either that or get some ground balls.
We talked about her 5-game winning streak, and she is going for 6 in a row here today. Holly Hayden steps in for Texas A&M, the junior from Spring, Texas. She takes a ball there. Holly Hayden on the season, batting .235, no home runs, 5 RBIs.
And keep an eye on Holly Hayden. She is a slap hitter. Hits from the left.
Charlotte Moore's 1-0, and it's a bunt fielded by Keely Franks. She throws down, and a little collision down at first base between Trisha Tatro and Holly Hayden, and Hayden is safe, and Tatro looked like she may have been hit in the face.
Holly Hayden, just a bulldog, very aggressive. As I said earlier, is a slap hitter, hits from the left, and she's off and running, so aggressive, running all the way through first place. That's the way they teach you. And first baseman Trisha Tedros just got to kind of move out of the way there.
And actually, it was Lindsey Gardner covering because Tatro had come in to field the bunt if it in fact went her way. So that was Lindsey Gardner who collided with Holly Hayden, and she's being attended to by the Texas trainers down there. Like just a collision with her cheek maybe, and maybe a bloody nose. But Holly Hayden is aboard here with 1 out in the 3rd. And Angie Long will step in for the Aggies as Lindsey Gardner gets tended to down at first base, and Connie Clark a little concerned about her leading hitter, and she's going to take a look at Lindsey Gardner.
Holly Hayden running into her. She stands at 5'3", Lindsey Gardner at 5'5", but just really made the collision. Looks like she got hit in the mouth. Either that or she might have a nosebleed.
They rule it an error on Keely Franks, her 17th error of the season. You see Connie Clark taking a look at Lindsey Gardner, doesn't want to lose her. But I have a feeling Lindsey Gardner is going to stay in this game. It's going to take probably a couple of broken legs and maybe a couple of broken arms to get her out of this game.
Well, Brian, Lindsey is just so resilient, very competitive. She's a bulldog out there. As I said, 5'5" freshman. She doesn't want to waste any time. She wants to be out there on the field contributing.
And she will stay in at second base as Angie Long steps in for the Aggies. She struck out in the 1st inning against Charlotte Moore. Holly Hayden's aboard at first base here in the 3rd.
Well, even though the Aggies are down by 2 right now, Angie Long can get them right back into this game. She really is a blue-collar type player, just a workhorse, really sets the tone for the team. And she's a senior.
First pitch misses to Angie Long, and it's 1-0.
You'll see Angie, she's not a flashy type player.
That pitch misses as well, and she's got incredible numbers. When someone gets on base, batting .714 with runners on base and batting .667 when there's runners in scoring position. So Angie Long has delivered when it counts, and again, she was the only Aggie to get a hit, the only 2 of the game, in that March loss to Texas in College Station.
You talk about thriving under pressure.
Flies that one to Keely Franks in foul territory down at third base, and off at first base is Holly Hayden, and she is thrown out, and once again we have a double play. So Holly Hayden falls asleep down at first base, and an easy foul pop becomes a double play for Texas. We head to the bottom of the 3rd inning, Texas leading the Aggies 2-0.
Check your vision. Why don't you cover your left eye for me?
Okay, when class is on first.
On, please.
Thompson Country Ford. JC put a little country in the name to remind folks that everything really is simpler in the country. And this little Navasota dealership has won Ford's North American Customer Excellence Award 9 years running. You'll find everything to look at that you'd find at the big stores north and south of Navasota. But it's the way you're treated while you're looking and after you've bought that's won them all those awards. Thompson Country Ford in Navasota, where country values will always get you the best deal.
College Sports News website on the web at www.collegesportscentral.com. For more information about College Sports Southwest and www.collegesportscentral.com, call 205-425-6935. Connie Clark's Texas Longhorns leading here in the bottom of the 3rd inning 2-0 as Texas A&M with some poor base running in that last inning leads to a double play to end the inning, and Keely Franks will lead off the bottom of the 3rd here. She singled, RBI single in the 1st inning, and later scored a run herself. Fouls that one off, and it's 0-1.
Well, thing about Keely Frank, she's one of the most consistent offensive players for Texas. As you said, batting at .289, and she's had 3 home runs, so she certainly can get it done.
Actually calling her hit in the first inning a fielder's choice rather than a single. Second pitch in there, and it's 0-2. Franks will be followed by Jody Reeves and Kat Richter here in the bottom of the third inning, with Texas leading Texas A&M 2-0.
The Aggies certainly they're down, but they can get right back into this. Amy Vining, very important that she maintains her composure on the mound, continues to take it one pitch at a time. Of course, starting the game was Carol Weichel when they inserted Vining into the lineup.
1-2 to Keely Franks. She lines that one into left field. Holly Hayden going back. She can't make the play. Rounding first and heading for second is Keely Franks, and she is in there with the double. So Franks leads off the bottom of the third inning with a two-base hit. And we'll take another look at the line double by Keely Franks.
Just a great job by Keely Franks. She too is a power hitter, going completely over the head of Holly Hayden.
Keely Franks' 12th double of the season. And it brings up Jody Reeves for Texas. Reeves boarded on a fielder's choice in the first inning and was thrown out.
And I really look for some change up there by Amy Vining. But sometimes in those situations, she'll start relying on her curveball when Texas starts getting those types of hits. That's what she'll resort to in a pressure situation.
0-1 to Jody Reeves here with Keely Franks aboard at second base. The bottom of the third inning of a 2-0 Texas lead. That one misses, and it's 1-1. Connie Clark looking for some more offense here.
Well, she certainly can get it from Jody Reeves, Texas's career leader with 206.
Second team All-American 2 years ago was Jody Reeves. Tries to bunt there, and nearly a great play by Jennifer Davis. Unable to make the catch, and it's 1-2. Reeves struggled a little bit a year ago. She was second team All Big 12, but batted just .262. That's after batting .393 her sophomore year, as we see Jennifer Davis trying to make the play and just a couple of inches away.
Yeah, coming all the way in from third base.
You see Texas career hits leader with over 200. She also hit the first home run ever here at McCombs Field back in '98. She was a first team All Big 12 pick as a freshman. In fact, the co-freshman of the year in the Big 12. She pops that one up, and Angie Long in foul territory makes the play for the first out here in the bottom of the third inning. And Jody Reeves is retired, and Kat Richter will step in. Richter with an RBI single in the first inning.
Well, we've seen Amy Vining on the mound. She's really changing things up, throwing some off-speed pitches. She's recognized as a power pitcher, but she's got a number of different options in her repertoire.
See Richter, her first name Kathleen, but she likes to go by Kat. Takes the ball, and it's 1-0. Native of Austin, Texas, went to Westlake High School. Three-time All-District player at Westlake High. She missed 31 games her freshman year with a sprained ankle and hit .207 a year ago. This year at .269.
And Brian, she's such a tremendous leader for this Texas team, both in the game and off the field. Just a power hitter who adds a lot of depth, living up to that billing.
Left it into left center field, but there to make the play is Holly Hayden for the second out. And Kat Richter is retired. So the catcher Marlo Hanks will step in as Keely Franks still down at second base after leading off the inning with a double.
And don't look now if you're Texas A&M, because Marlo Hanks in the lineup, she too can really connect. Batting a .209, her on-base percentage is a .260.
She was hit by a pitch in the first inning and left on base in that Texas two-run first. Hanks, a freshman from Kingwood, Texas. And she looks at ball one there. Shadows starting to creep over the infield, and the edge of the shadows and the sunlight right about at the pitching rubber for Amy Vining.
And as an infielder, you always feel a little bit better when that sun's out of your eyes.
And it seems like it's always the right fielder who's got to deal with the sun the longest, and it's the most difficult to deal with, as that pitch was in there 1-1. The 1-1 pitch to Marlo Hanks, a little off-speed pitch popped up. Crystal Martin is over there, and the shortstop will grab it near the third baseline. So Texas is retired here in the third inning. We have played 3 complete from McCombs Field in Austin. Texas leading Texas A&M 2-0.
Insurance adjusters handle a lot of claims. They're paid to settle as fast as possible. But if you're injured, it may take months for you to get better. Don't get caught in the shuffle. Get experienced legal advice before you even think of settling. Fred Davis, a board-certified personal injury lawyer, helps injury victims. Your first visit's free and there's no obligation. Call Davis & Davis. We're here to help.
Spring fever is in the air, and with the change of the season comes huge spring savings at Douglas Nissan. Hi folks, Tracy Baker here for Douglas Nissan. Come check out the all-new redesigned 2000 Sentra. Just $239 a month and an estimated 33 miles a gallon. Or how about the Nissan Frontier? Only $215 a month and an estimated 30 miles a gallon. Remember, our prices will not be beat. Douglas Nissan, where customer satisfaction is #1.
Well, I'm Brian Brinkley. We head to the top of the 4th inning. Texas leading Texas A&M 2-0, and another tremendous crowd here, young and old alike, to watch this great rivalry between these two teams. Texas A&M for many years a power in the Southwest Conference, and Texas simply did not have a softball program, but with the implementation of the Big 12, Texas decided it was time to start a softball program, and boy, it didn't take long for success to come to Austin.
You really have to tip your hat to Texas, though. They do everything first class.
Just tremendous facilities, tremendous resources down here, and
tremendous coaches right there. Connie Clark.
Coaches as well. Connie Clark, an All-American in her playing days at Cal State Fullerton, led the Titans to a national championship back in 1986.
She was the '87 Broderick National Player of the Year, Softball Player of the Year, and she knows what it takes to have success. 3-time All-American. Went to Central Arizona Junior College and then also finished up at Cal State Fullerton.
In fact, played under current Arizona head coach Mike Candrea in junior college, so she has learned from the best and certainly knows what it takes to get to Oklahoma City in the Women's College World Series. Crystal Martin leading off here in the 4th inning for Texas A&M, and first 2 pitches from Charla Moore miss, and it's 2-0. Martin will be followed by Selena Collins and Tiffany Esters. Here in the 4th inning, Martin struck out looking back in the first. One of 3 strikeouts by Charla Moore.
Charla Moore looking so confident and strong, not tired at all.
Up the middle, and Jody Reeves is there to make the play, throwing over to Tricia Tatro for out number 1, and Crystal Martin is retired.
Here you see a piece of Crystal Martin getting a piece of the ball, but that's the thing about Charla Moore's pitches. They force you to get the ground ball and not to get the fly.
Selena Collins steps in for the Aggies. She singled and was stranded back in the first. The Aggies leading hitter on the season at .331 coming into today. That one misses, and it's 1-0. We talked about Arizona and the tremendous tradition they have built down there in Tucson. It's a wonder how Selena Collins was able to get out of that state, out of Glendale, Arizona, all-state 4 years in a row in high school. And somehow Arizona was not able to grab her. I guess Arizona can pretty much pick from all over the country who they want to play for them, so a few good players are not going to make the Wildcats.
Well, it really doesn't surprise me, though. Coming to Austin, what a beautiful facility they have, the commitment to women's athletics, women's softball. Connie Clark, one of the top young coaches in the country. I could see maybe she wanted to get out of that heat in Arizona.
I bet it's a dry heat, right?
Yeah.
Not quite as humid as it is here in Austin. And Connie Clark, as we said, played for Mike Candrea, so it's possible Candrea may have said, I just don't have room for her. You interested? And I'm sure Connie Clark jumped at the opportunity. We're talking about Selena Collins, actually, for Texas A&M, but
we think of all the great states with women's softball players, girls softball players. I think of California, Arizona, Florida, Texas, absolutely. And Oklahoma. Do not overlook Oklahoma.
That's right. Selena Collins is aboard on the walk, and Tiffany Esters will step in. Esters popped out to shortstop in the first inning. Junior from Burleson, Texas, a second-team All-Big 12 pick a year ago. And Rachel Lewis is now the pinch runner down at first base for Selena Collins. You'll see that a lot in college softball. If you're accustomed to watching baseball, a lot of pinch runners will come in.
Makes our job a little bit harder. We're erasing and penciling in, but Rachel's pretty versatile. She started 9 times this year at left field. Also, second base 9 times and left field 1 time.
Bunt laid down by Tiffany Esters, fielded by Charla Moore, and she throws her out at first base, but Lewis moves down to second base on the play. So a sacrifice bunt for Tiffany Esters. And that's the second out of the inning, and Kelly Ferguson will step in for Texas A&M.
Well, coming into this afternoon's ballgame, and I was talking about Texas's strength, their power offensively, but really defensively, they've been almost flawless, doing a good job not allowing the Aggies to get on the board, even though they do have a runner on second right now.
Kelly Ferguson singled and was thrown out on a double play to end the second inning. That pitch gets away from Marlo Hanks, and moving on down to third base is Lewis. So Texas A&M trying to inch a little closer to their first run of the game, as Charla Moore's pitch was not handled by Marlo Hanks behind the plate, and certainly looked like it should have been, and they will rule it a pass ball. And Rachel Lewis 60 feet away from the Aggies' first run of the game. But we have 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning, and a 1-0 count on Kelly Ferguson. Pitch in there for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Charla Moore continuing to be very, very aggressive on the mound. Has great command of a number of different pitches. She loves the curve, the screwball.
1-1 to Kelly Ferguson.
That one going way inside. And I like the patience that Kelly is showing right now behind the plate.
And or rather Robert Elizondo calls that one a strike, actually, and it's 1-2 to Kelly Ferguson, and the rhythmic clapping starts here from the Combs Field in Austin as they trying to root Charla Moore onto her 4th strikeout. That one misses, though, and it's 2-2.
You know, with 2 outs and 2 strikes, the pressure is on Charla. She wants to get this inning over with.
And the clapping will start back up again. Down at third base is Rachel Lewis.
Right.
2-2, 2 outs, and Kelly Ferguson at the plate. Shot towards the third baseman, Keely Franks. She makes the play over to Trisha Tatro, and Kelly Ferguson is retired, and the inning is over. So once again, Texas A&M strands a runner on the base pass, and we head to the bottom of the 4th inning from Austin. Texas leading Texas A&M 2-0.
Well, they're 2 down in the top of the 7th. These guys are going to make a comeback. They better get the bats going soon.
Don't you wish you could scratch and get $1 million? Play Napa's $1 Million Thanks Instant Win game. There are thousands of other prizes, too. Plus, you'll save on hundreds of items. It's our way of thanking you for the last 75 years. Stop by a participating Napa Auto Parts store today.
Subscribe to Baseball America, the #1 college baseball publication. If you love college baseball, you will love Baseball America. Every issue, Baseball America brings you the best in college baseball. To subscribe, call 1-800-845-2726. 13 issues of Baseball America is just $19.95. Ask for the special college sports offer. Call 1-800-845-2726 for the best in college baseball coverage. Call 1-800-845-2726 today to start Baseball America.
Watch College Sports Southwest next Wednesday, May 3rd for live Big 12 baseball action as Texas Tech faces Texas A&M. Best college softball coverage anywhere, only on College Sports Southwest, and baseball as well. For more information, call 205-425-6935 or log on to www.collegesportscentral.com. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning, and Autumn Eastis will lead it off for the Longhorns, followed by Trisha Tatro and Courtney Ryan.
And she's batting at .218, but we've seen a lot of Amy Vining as some off-speed pitches, and it's forcing the Longhorns to hit some pop flies like that.
That one fouled off out of play. Autumn Eastis lined into a double play to end the 1st inning. Junior from Lake Isabella, California. 3rd team All-American a year ago, batted .379.
She had a breakout sophomore year, but I'm thinking back to just not even a week ago where she had a great performance versus Oklahoma State. She went 1 for 2 with 1 run scored and 2 RBIs.
She takes another strike. She has not had the junior season she had hoped for, just batting .218 coming into today.
And she is a left-handed slap hitter with exceptional speed, so she's going to take off. She wants to get to first.
The 0-2 pitch just misses, and it's 1-2. She came into the season having not committed an error at Texas. She has committed 2 this season as the center fielder.
And she only stands at 5'3", so
that one's chopped up towards the middle. Lisa Clam is there for Texas A&M, and a nice stretch by Angie Long, and Autumn Eastis is retired. Clam up the middle to bring up Trisha Tatro for the Longhorns.
Autumn Eastis with the connection there, but here you see Angie Long. Here's the nice job of stretching way outside and keeping her foot on the base.
Here's Trisha Tatro. She popped out to second base in the 2nd inning. It's that one, a little flare and a dive down at shortstop, and Crystal Martin makes the play. A nice diving catch by Crystal Martin. And on 1 pitch, Trisha Tatro is retired as we take another look at that play.
Trisha Tatro going right to shortstop, but what a beautiful diving play. Great defensive play by Crystal Martin.
So the number 9 hitter, Courtney Ryan, the designated player, steps in. She grounded out to shortstop in the 2nd inning. She comes to the plate with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th, and her team leading 2-0. First pitch, a ball to Courtney Ryan.
Now remember, Courtney Ryan, I said it earlier, she missed the entire '99 postseason because she had a bruised left hand, which really hampered her, caused her completely miss the season. So wanting to come in very strong as a sophomore.
Just got a piece of that one, and it's 1-1. Little off-speed pitch, and it's lined deep into left field, but Holly Hayden tracks it down. And that ends the 4th inning, so Texas goes 1-2-3 for the first time here this afternoon. And we head to the 5th inning with Texas leading the Aggies 2-0.
Check your vision. Why don't you cover your left eye for me?
Okay, one glasses off first.
On, please.
TZX.
Thompson Country Ford. JC put a little country in the name to remind folks that everything really is simpler in the country. And this little Navasota dealership has won Ford's North American Customer Excellence Award 9 years running. You'll find everything to look at that you'd find at the big stores north and south of Navasota. But it's the way you're treated while you're looking and after you've bought that's won them all those awards. Thompson Country Ford in Navasota, where country values will always get you the best deal.
Along with Alyssa Walker-Campbell, I'm Brian Brinkley. We head to the top of the 5th inning. Texas leading Texas A&M 2-0. Sun-drenched crowd here in some parts of the stadium at McCombs Field. Through 4 innings, Aggies with no runs, 2 hits, no errors. Texas 2 runs, 4 hits, and 1 error. And Lisa Clam will lead off the 5th inning for Texas A&M. She will be followed by Jennifer Davis and Angie Shetler.
Lisa Clam really needs to step up to the plate. and get a good hit, get on base. And there, of course, you see Jody Conrad, the head women's basketball coach at the University of Texas. A lot of excitement in Austin. That's because their prized possession, their prize player, Edwina Brown, was the first collegiate player to be picked in the WNBA draft yesterday, the third player picked overall. And so she'll be heading to the Detroit Shock, playing for Hall of Famer Nancy Lieberman-Klein.
And a lot of good news for a lot of Big 12 players. The Big 12 did very well yesterday in the WNBA draft. Bunt laid down by Lisa Clam. Charlotte Moore picks it up, but her throw is not in time. A great bunt by Lisa Clam. And she is aboard here to lead off the 5th inning for Texas A&M. I think it might have taken Charlotte Moore by surprise. And it was really a perfect bunt.
And it was a perfect bunt, but a great strategy by Lisa Clam, and she just took off running. Super job with the great foot speed to get on base.
So with Clam aboard at first, Jennifer Davis, the third baseman, steps in. Davis lined out to third in the 2nd inning.
And she's a quiet player out there for the Aggies, but very, very consistent.
1-0 to Davis. And Clam down at first base, thinking about maybe swiping it. She has 14 stolen bases on the season. As you see Charlotte Moore's numbers, it was just her 3rd hit of the game given up. Davis will lay down a bunt. It's picked up by Trisha Tatro. She throws down to Lindsey Gardner, covering at first base for the out. But the sacrifice is successful as Lisa Clam moves on down to 2nd. And it will be 1 out as Angie Shetler will step in.
And as you can see, the Aggies not trying to power the ball, but they're just going to go ahead and bunt it and try to get on base and advance. And a good job of positioning. Now they've got a runner on 2nd, and they can a little bit better scoring opportunity.
After giving up 2 runs in the 1st inning off Texas A&M pitcher Carol Weichel, Amy Vining has come in for Texas A&M and pitched well and kept the Aggies in it. And as a result, they have the tying run at the plate here in the 5th inning. Still just trailing 2-0 as the pitch to Shetler misses. She flied out to third base in the 3rd inning.
And Angie Shetler doesn't have impressive offensive totals. Where she really gets things done is defensively. She has numerous run-saving diving catches, a .962 field percentage.
That one is lined over the head of Lindsey Gardner and in for a base hit. Rounding third but holding up is Lisa Clam. And so the base hit by Angie Shetler has runners at the corners for Texas A&M here in the 5th inning with 1 out. And Holly Hayden, the number 9 batter, will step in for the Aggies.
Well, I don't know what I'm talking about there. Angie Shetler looking very good offensively. Beautiful placement. And now the Aggies with a runner on 3rd. Things are really starting to look up for Texas A&M.
Joe Evans thought about sending Lisa Clam, but decided to hold her up down there at 3rd. And now Texas catcher Marlo Hanks calls timeout and wants to talk things over with Charla Moore. This is really the first time she has had to deal with much trouble here in this game, with 2 on and 1 out in the 5th inning, and the Texas lead, which seemed pretty comfortable at 2-0 with Charla Moore in control, is now not so comfortable.
The Aggies have 2 runners on and in a good position. Holly Hayden. And this is a young lady that too at times can be a slap hitter.
And Texas now with a couple of pitchers warming up in the bullpen, both Carmen Martinez and Danielle Booth warming up. First pitch misses from Charla Moore, and it's 1-0. Take a look at Martinez and Booth warming up.
We gotta like the idea of maybe putting in Carmen Martinez. She's got a good drop ball, a number of different pitches, but great velocity on her pitch.
Stealing second base is Angie Shetler, and nearly getting picked off down at 3rd is Lisa Clam, as Marlo Hanks made the throw down to Keely Franks. Tagged just a little too late, so it's 2nd and 3rd now for the Aggies, and a 1-1 count on Holly Hayden, as Texas A&M threatening here in the 5th inning.
If I'm Charla Moore, she's just got to relax. She has had a fairly good outing this afternoon and may even be getting a little bit tired now with that ball.
One misses, and it's 2-1. Holly Hayden Batted .372 a year ago for Texas A&M. Her freshman season played at Southwestern.
Posted 5 multiple hit games, so she can get it done.
And as Shetler took second, they rule it fielder indifference and not a stolen base. Play made by Keely Franks, but it's too late down at first base, and Holly Hayden is aboard. The runners do not advance, though. And it's an infield single, and the bases are loaded for the Aggies in the 5th.
Just a beautiful job by Holly Hayden. There you see the slap hit. She was off and running. Well, that looked close.
Real close, and Connie Clark now has walked out to the pitching circle to talk to Charla Moore along with the rest of the Texas infield.
And what we've seen from Texas A&M, Brian, is that they're a very streaky team. They can come up and just bite you. You cannot relax. You cannot become complacent even if you have a 2-run lead.
And with the bases loaded, the leadoff hitter will be coming up for Texas A&M, Angie Long. She struck out in the first inning, popped out to the third baseman in the 3rd. But she comes up with 1 out and the bases full of Aggies. Lisa Clam down at 3rd, Angie Shetler at 2nd, and Holly Hayden at first base as Charla Moore tries to work out of a jam.
What better position to be in than to have Angie Long at bat, batting a .319. She doesn't have any home runs on the year, but her slug percentage is a .391.
With the bases full, Charla Moore pitches to Angie Long, and she singles to center field. The runners will all move up, and a run is home for Texas A&M as Lisa Clam scores. And the bases are still loaded here with 1 out in the 5th inning as Angie Long, first pitch hitting, gets the RBI single.
Angie Long with a great placement, and most importantly, allows them to get the runner in.
So the base is still loaded with 1 out, and Crystal Martin steps in. She struck out looking and grounded to short. You'll see Angie Long leading the Aggies in hits as she connected once again and drove home the first Aggie run of the game as it's 2-1. Charla Moore's first pitch to Crystal Martin in there for a strike.
And Crystal Martin, only a 5'6" freshman. She worked so hard, Joe Evans told me, to get inserted into the starting lineup. She actually bumped out a senior in the position, but just has shown tremendous potential and effort.
Charla Moore throws that one past her. And it's 0-2. Bases loaded for Texas A&M here with 1 out in the top of the 5th inning. Texas leading at 2-1. But in some trouble here as Charla Moore tries to work out of it. And she starts by getting the strikeout of Crystal Martin. The second time Martin has struck out. And the 4th strikeout of the game for Charla Moore.
Just a devastating pitch by Charla Moore, going across the heart of the plate, forcing the Aggies to swing. And the crowd is behind the University of Texas. What a great crowd we have on hand.
And we've just been handed the attendance figure, 1,218 on hand here at McCombs Field.
And it seats 1,252.
Not quite a sellout, but once again another great crowd for the Texas A&M game. Selena Collins steps in with the bases still loaded. She fouls that one right back in our direction, and it's 0-1. Collins singled and was stranded in the first inning, walked and was stranded in the 4th. She has an opportunity here to tie the game or perhaps give the Aggies the lead here in the 5th.
What I like about the Aggies is they have shown a lot of courage. They're playing with so much heart. Of course, remember, coming into this afternoon's ball game, Brian, they had lost 4 games in a row. They want to get back on track.
The 0-1 pitch, and it misses. 1-1 to Selena Collins.
And you know, Charla Moore has obviously been in these types of situations before. She is a 5'9" junior.
Take a look at the runners aboard. Angie Shetler down at 3rd, Holly Hayden at 2nd, and Angie Long at 1st. Aggies with the bases full here. That one's lined to left field. It's right at Kat Richter, but she can't make the play. 1 run is home. 2 runs are home. A 3rd run is being waved in. And it's a clear the bases double for Selena Collins, ripping the double over the head of Kat Richter in left field, and suddenly Texas A&M has a 4-2 lead.
How quickly the tables can turn. The Aggies with the big hit, and most importantly, bringing in so many runners.
Shetler, Hayden, and Angie Long all come in to score on the 3 RBI double from Selena Collins. And the Texas Aggies now have gone in front 4-2. Looked like Richter might be able to make the play, but I think she may have misjudged the speed of that line drive, and it just zipped over her glove in left field, went to the wall, and what a big hit for Selena Collins.
Well, we talked about Selena Collins in the open, that 5'9" freshman who just exudes so much confidence. But for Texas, they've got to get control of this game. The Aggies just getting a lot of power at the plate.
And Kat Richter makes the play on that fly out to left field, but not before Texas A&M gets a big double from Selena Collins. 3 runs come in on the double, and Texas A&M has taken the lead with 4 runs in the 5th. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning with the Aggies leading this one 4-2 over the Longhorns.
Spring fever is in the air, and with the change of the season comes huge spring savings at Douglas Nissan. Hi folks, Tracy Baker here for Douglas Nissan. Come check out the all-new redesigned 2000 Sentra. Just $239 a month and an estimated 33 miles a gallon. Or how about the Nissan Frontier? Only $215 a month and an estimated 30 miles a gallon. Remember, our prices will not be beat. Douglas Nissan, where customer satisfaction is #1.
Insurance adjusters handle a lot of claims. They're paid to settle as fast as possible. But if you're injured, it may take months for you to get better. Don't get caught in the shuffle. Get experienced legal advice before you even think of settling.
Fred Davis, a board-certified personal injury lawyer, helps injury victims. Your first visit's free and there's no obligation. Call Davis & Davis. We're here to help.
52726 for the best in college baseball coverage. Call 1-800-845-2726 today to start Baseball America.
Back at McCombs Field in Austin, Texas, Brian Brinkley along with Alyssa Walker-Campbell. You look at the Big 12 softball standings. Oklahoma leading it at 15-1. Texas just a half game behind Nebraska at 11-3. And you see Texas A&M in the middle of the pack at 5-8. And what a big victory this would be if the Aggies could get the victory here today over Texas to get some vengeance after losing in College Station a month ago.
Well, revenge is always a great motivator, Brian, but I think about all the teams that are in the top 25 for the Big 12 Conference. Oklahoma checking in at number 5, Nebraska at number 20, Oklahoma State at 23, and Texas A&M got 15 votes, and Texas had 14 votes, so this is certainly a prolific conference.
And leading off the bottom of the 5th inning for Texas will be their leadoff hitter, Lindsey Gardner, followed by Audrey Hendricks and Keely Franks. Gardner singled and scored in the 1st inning, walked and was stranded in the 2nd. She takes a strike, and it is 0-1. So Amy Vining now has a 4-2 lead to work with here in the bottom of the 5th inning after a 4-run 5th by the Aggies, highlighted by the 3-run double from Selena Collins.
She can be breathing just a little bit easier. She can't exhale, not yet, but...
Little pop fly into shallow center field right behind second base, and Lisa Clam comes over and nearly collides with Crystal Martin, but she makes the play for out number 1, and Audrey Hendricks will step in.
That's important as an infielder. You've got to be able to call off the other player and say, hey, I've got it, and communicate and just wave them off. How quickly that could have just, yeah, that was real close.
And really, it looked like it was Crystal Martin's ball. It looked like Lisa Clam kind of went past her territory to get it, but she does make the play. And it's out number 1 as Audrey Hendricks steps in, takes a strike. Hendricks singled and was thrown out on the base pass in the 1st inning and lined out to left field in the 2nd. The crowd we mentioned, 1,218, the 9th largest crowd in the history of McCombs Field. That one fouled off down third base side, and it's 0-2.
That's one thing about Texas fans. They really support women's athletics. They come out in droves.
I think Texas, without a doubt, one of the top overall women's athletic programs in the country.
Absolutely.
Has been for probably the past 20 years or so. That one gets through the legs of Amy Vining, and it's a single for Audrey Hendricks. So Texas trying to answer the Texas A&M fifth inning with some runs here in their half of the fifth, just between the legs of Amy Vining.
But a good job by Audrey Hendricks to even get the ground play, to make the kind of contact. Most importantly, getting on base, because Texas has got to get in some type of scoring position. They've got to get some runs. They're down 2.
And it brings up Keely Franks for the Longhorns. She's got an RBI in the first inning and scored, and then doubled and was stranded in the third inning. That pitch in there for a strike to Franks.
She's a solid performer at the plate, batting a .289 and looking to advance the runner on first.
That's Audrey Hendricks. Franks at the plate. The on-deck hitter is Jody Reeves. That one misses, and it's 1-1. And the tempo of this game has been completely changed by the 4-run fifth. Texas feeling pretty comfortable, and I'm sure their fans were at 2-0, and all of a sudden they're down 4-2. And trying to answer the Aggies here in the bottom of the fifth. Lined foul down the third baseline and out of play into the bullpen. It's 1-2.
Great job by Keely Franks to get a piece of it, and she can just get that ball in play.
Keely Franks, the first team All-Big 12 pick a year ago for Connie Clark's team. Batted .346.
She also was a National Scholar athlete.
Came to Texas as a shortstop, and she has been converted to a third baseman. That pitch high, the throw down from Selena Collins, and diving back and safely is Audrey Hendricks, and it's 2-2 to the batter, Keely Franks. Look, once again, Audrey Hendricks leaning and was able to get back in time. 2-2, 1 out, 1 on here in the bottom of the fifth for Texas. That one fouled off by Franks, and it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes, and a nice catch by the Texas fan in the last row.
He's got a big smile on his face. I like how Amy Vining is very methodical on the mound. She really takes her time, thinks about her pitch, doesn't get flustered.
2-2 pitch to Franks is inside, and it goes full.
As you can see on that last pitch, she can put some power on the ball. She throws in the low 60s.
And in search of her first career victory against the University of Texas, Vining, a junior from Deer Park, Texas. Second team All-Big 12 a year ago. That is hit deep to left, going back against the wall, and a great catch by Holly Hayden on the warning track in deep left.
That was a huge play by Holly Hayden. You talk about keeping your eye on the ball. Great job to get herself into position. Just a beautiful hit, nice connection. Thought that might have been going over the fence, but Holly Hayden.
Very well played out there, and she didn't have a whole lot of room left, but she makes the play for the second out, and what a big out it is. As Selena Collins, and there you see the laughter from Holly Hayden. You can do that after you make the play. Selena Collins talking with Amy Vining here now with 2 outs, and Jody Reeves stepping in for the Longhorns. Jody Reeves boarded on a fielder's choice in the first inning and was erased on a double play. She popped out to first base in the third. That pitch misses, and it's 1-0.
Jody Reeves very aggressive at the play. We had put up her stat earlier that she's Texas's career leader with 206.
Two-time All-Big 12 selection. She was second team All-Big 12 a year ago. Ground ball right at Angie Long at first base. She steps on the base, and the final out in the fifth inning is made. So Texas sends 4 to the plate, and 3 are retired. We head to the top of the 6th inning with Texas A&M leading 4-2.
Check your vision. Why don't you cover your left eye for me?
Okay, one glasses on first.
On, please.
TZX.
Thompson Country Ford. JC put a little country in the name to remind folks that everything really is simpler in the country. And this little Navasota dealership has won Ford's North American Customer Excellence Award 9 years running. You'll find everything to look at that you'd find at the big stores north and south of Navasota. But it's the way you're treated while you're looking and after you've bought that's won them all those awards. Thompson Country Ford in Navasota, where country values will always get you the best deal.
And Brinkley, Connie Clark's team trailing 4-2. Trying to rally her troop. Joe Evans, Texas Aggies have the lead. Joe Evans in her 4th season at Texas A&M. She qualified for the NCAA tournament a year ago, the first time they'd been since 1996. She came from Utah, where she led the Utes to 2 trips to the Women's College World Series, 2-time WAC Coach of the Year there, and she has been called upon to kind of revive the Texas A&M program, which once was one of the tops in the country back in the 80s.
Well, I think she's done a terrific job. Last year, their team went 41-22. They did finish 7th in the Big 12 Conference, but they advanced to postseason play in the first time since '96. And, of course, she's filling some big shoes. You remember Bob Brock. He was 15 years with the Aggies, and they won 3 national championships, 82, 83, and 87.
Kelly Ferguson will lead off the 6th inning for the Aggies. Some defensive changes for Texas. Tiffany Valdehueza has moved into left field, and Kat Richter has moved to the designated player for the Longhorns. As Kelly Ferguson takes the first ball, and it's 1-0.
Defensively, the Longhorns really have to buckle down. Charla Moore has really got to maintain her level of concentration, take it one pitch at a time.
Kelly Ferguson singled in the 2nd and was thrown out on a double play, grounded out to 3rd base in the 4th inning. And that pitch misses as well, and Charla Moore falls behind 3-0. Texas A&M has taken the lead here with a 4-run 5th inning after giving up 2 in the 1st. With Carol Weichel pitching, but Amy Vining has settled down, replacing Carol Weichel, and has done the job since then, just giving up 2 hits in 4 innings as Charla Moore finds the strike zone.
Kelly Ferguson showing a lot of patience at the plate. Very selective. Nice job.
3-1 pitch, lined into left field for the base hit, and Kelly Ferguson leads off the 6th inning with a single.
Kelly Ferguson, as I said, was just demonstrating a lot of patience, very selective with the pitches, and just beautiful placement to left field, and now she's on first base.
And Marlo Hanks goes out to chat with Charla Moore, who now has to deal with another runner here in the 6th inning.
And you have to think that the one maybe insert Carmen Martinez, a terrific pitcher for Texas, who has got good velocity on the ball. She's got a drop ball.
And Martinez warming up for Connie Clark's team in the bullpen. Lisa Clam steps in for the Aggies. She struck out in the 2nd, singled, and scored the first run of the game for the Aggies in the 5th inning. And then 3 more were driven home on a double by Selena Collins. Aggies looking for more to add to a 4-2 lead here in the top of the 6th inning.
Clam is one of their better hitters, batting a .284. She's had 6 home runs. Chalk them up, 6 of them.
Sophomore from Katy, Texas. That one's in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. Clam, a 2nd team All Big 12 selection a year ago as a freshman. As we take a look at Charla Moore's numbers, given up 8 hits into the 6th inning here, struck out 4, walked 1. But it was really just that one hit by Selena Collins, which is the difference in this game.
Of course, you mentioned that Lisa Clam is out of Katy, Texas. I'm thinking of the other player out of Katy, Texas, for Texas, that is Lindsey Gardner.
Lisa Clam, coming out of high school, the top recruit in the state of Texas. She was the state player of the year, and anytime you can be player of the year in a state as large as Texas, you're a pretty good player. That one's in there, and it's 2-2. Clam, as I said, is a sophomore and a co-captain already, one of the leaders for the Aggies.
And that's what Charla Moore can force you to do, is really start thinking at the plate and make you apprehensive. Are you going to swing at it, or aren't you going to swing at it? Is it a strike, or is it a ball?
2-2 to Lisa Clam, line down the left field line, just foul. only about a foot away from being extra bases for Clam, but she will come back into the batter's box and face another 2-2 count from Charla Moore. And you have to wonder at this point, how long will Connie Clark stay with Charla Moore?
You talk about having a lethal bat. If she could have just straightened that out a little bit. Power at the plate. Lisa Clam with the nice connection.
It's a game of inches, they say.
That's right, it is. That in golf, right?
That's right, and that is a nice off-speed pitch, and Lisa Clam watches it go by for strike 3. And a big strikeout for Charla Moore to get the first out here in the 6th as Clam is retired. The 5th strikeout of the game for Charla Moore.
And Charla Moore does have that off-speed pitch. She'll change things up. You think that's going to be coming in. She'll just change it up. And that has got the Longhorns on their feet. That has got to give Charla Moore a huge confidence boost. Certainly a boost for the Longhorns.
So Jennifer Davis steps in for the Aggies. Lined out to third base in the 2nd inning and sacrificed in the 5th. She takes a strike and it's 0-1. And one of the reasons the Texas crowd got loud is they were throwing out some free T-shirts.
Oh.
So a free T-shirt always get you yelling as well. That one's popped up on the left side and going over to make the play, but dropping it is Keely Franks. An easy pop fly out, and she drops it right over by our camera, but I don't think the camera was what distracted her. She just dropped it right in front of the Texas dugout. Tough play, though, trying to find the dugout.
And she was in position for that, but looked like it hit the top of her mitt.
Like she may have just taken her eye off it just at the last second, and that's the difference between the 2nd out and Jennifer Davis staying alive at 0-2. And we'll see if the Aggies can make them pay, but it's another strike. And a strikeout for Charla Moore, her 2nd straight strikeout, looking, and her 6th of the game, and 2 big strikeouts for Charla Moore here in the 6th inning, and with 2 outs, Angie Shetler will step in, and the most relieved player on the field is Keely Franks.
Well, I don't think they're on their feet for the T-shirts. They're certainly rallying around Charla Moore. What a sensational job she's done, coming on very strong and regaining her composure on the mound.
So Angie Shetler steps in with 2 outs here in the 6th inning. And she takes strike 1. She singled back in the 5th and was one of the 3 runners to come home on the double by Selena Collins. Texas A&M badly in need of a victory. They've lost 4 in a row. There's a grounder deep in the hole. Jody Reeves makes the play at shortstop. Is not able to throw out Angie Shetler, and the throw is wild, and heading down to third base is Kelly Ferguson.
And what's been surprising is just defensively, Texas at times has really broken down. The Aggies now are in position with 2 runners on base, 2nd and 3rd. Not able to get the strong throw to first base.
So it's a single for Shetler, and she moves on to second base on the error by Jody Reeves. So 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs here as Holly Hayden steps in for the Aggies, swinging and missing on the first pitch. Hayden singled last inning and scored. Again, one of those 3 runners that were brought in by Selena Collins.
I thought Holly Hayden's been really strong this afternoon, just terrific at times. And as you can see, trying to slap hit the ball, coming in from the left side. She's going to start running and try to get some type of connection.
Holly Hayden from Spring, Texas, a junior. Started her career at Southwestern Louisiana. Her sister Heather played at Texas A&M from 94 to 97. She transferred in, played her first season a year ago. Missed most of the season with a broken arm, though, last year. Very fast player, the left fielder for the Aggies, as it's 1-2 on Hayden.
You know the pressure's got to be on for Charla Moore. There's 2 outs, 2 strikes.
And her team down 2. Little ground ball, but Keely Franks playing up, makes the play, throws over to first base, and the throw gets away from Trisha Tatro. And a run comes home for the Aggies, and so Texas having some problems in the field, and Texas A&M increases the lead to 5-2 on yet another Longhorn error.
And this is the defensive breakdown that we were talking about at times. Some untimely errors. There you see Slap hitting the ball, advancing to first, not able to really get a good grasp on it.
And they call it an error on Keely Franks on the throw. And scoring is Kelly Ferguson. Moving down to third base is Angie Shetler and Holly Hayden aboard at first. And the leadoff hitter, Angie Long, steps in. Texas with 4 errors in this game. That and the Selena Collins double have been the difference as the Aggies now lead at 5-2.
But Connie Clark standing very strong behind Charla Moore, her pitcher, who's been in control of this game from start to finish. But defensively, the Longhorns kind of struggling right now.
Swing and a miss for Angie Long. She struck out in the first, popped out to the third baseman in the third, singled, and scored in the 5th inning. Down at third base, Angie Shetler and Holly Hayden is aboard at first. An 0-1 count on Angie Long. Top of the 6th inning, and the Aggies leading the Longhorns 5-2. Ball, and it's 1-1. Texas A&M lost a heartbreaker last night to Baylor. A home run in the bottom of the 7th inning beat them. And they are just badly in need of a victory. With a 4-game losing streak, they were 5-4 in Big 12 play, now 5-8.
And they've lost 6 straight to the University of Texas. So what a huge victory this would be, say hypothetically, that they are able to come away with a win. But as I was talking to Joe Evans, yes, that was a devastating loss. They had a doubleheader yesterday versus Baylor and lost the first game, didn't even score a run.
Lined right at the shortstop, Jody Reeves, and she makes the play, and Texas is out of the inning, but not before Texas A&M gets another run. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Aggies now with a 3-run lead. They lead their rivals, the Longhorns, 5-2 here from Austin. Texas will try to play catch-up when we return.
If you're in an accident and it's the other guy's fault, dealing with the other guy's insurance company might not be so easy.
After all, sir, who hit whom?
Sir, I know you need a rental car, but before we can authorize that, you need to come in and give us your statement.
But, sir, I can't see your file.
Oh, no.
Fred Davis, a board-certified personal injury lawyer, helps injury victims. Your first visit's free and there's no obligation. Davis & Davis, we're here to help.
Spring fever is in the air, and with the change of the season comes huge spring savings at Douglas Nissan. Hi folks, Tracy Baker here for Douglas Nissan. Come check out this '99 Subaru Forester. All-wheel drive, 0 down, and only $328 a month. Or how about this beautiful Chrysler Sebring convertible? Just in time for spring, 0 down, only $242 a month. Remember, our prices will not be beat. Douglas Nissan, where customer satisfaction is #1.
For live Big 12 baseball featuring Iowa State at Nebraska. It's the best live college baseball coverage anywhere, only on College Sports Southwest. For more information about College Sports Southwest, call 205-425-6935 or log on to www.collegesportscentral.com. We'll have all 3 games that Cyclone Husker series. As you take a look at Connie Clark, her team playing catch-up, and now they're down 3 runs as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Joe Evans, the Texas A&M head coach, her team in front 5-2 with 4 runs in the 5th and another in the 6th inning, as Kat Richter will lead off the bottom of the 6th inning for the Longhorns, followed by Marlo Hanks and Autumn Eastis. Strike 1 to Kat Richter. She singled and drove in a run in the 1st inning and popped out to left field in the 3rd.
And Kat certainly is another powerful hitter, and the Longhorns right now in desperate need. Get some more runs on the board as they are down.
And you can almost feel Amy Vining's confidence growing ever more as she has been staked to a 3-run lead here, seeking her first career victory against the Longhorns, and she gets that one in, and it's 0-2.
So impressed with Amy Vining, just throwing so many different things. Some off-speed pitches, but her signature, her best pitch is throwing hard.
And since she came in to start the 2nd inning, she's not faced more than 4 Longhorn batters in an inning. She has not had a strikeout yet, but she has put the ball in play, and her fielders have thrown out the Longhorns. No errors for the Aggies tonight. That one in the dirt, and it's 1-2.
Well, Vining's forced the Longhorns with a lot of pop-ups and a lot of ground balls. And
1-2 to Kat Richter here in the bottom of the 6th inning as the Longhorns trail 5-2. Trying for the season sweep of the Aggies, but they're going to have to come up with some offense here in the final 2 innings to do so. That pitch high, and it's 2-2. You mentioned Texas had won 6 straight from the Aggies. Since Texas is a very young softball program, the all-time series is just a 6-3 Texas lead. Texas A&M won the first 3 games of the series, and then the Longhorns have won the last 6.
Well, the Longhorns have really been on a run, 14-3 in their last 17 games. Very hot.
Got that streak started with a win over 9th-ranked Cal State Fullerton. In fact, before that 17-game streak got started, not 17 in a row, but 14 out of 17, their last loss was to top-ranked Washington at the time. There you see 1997, the last time the Aggies beat the Longhorns. That was in the Big 12 tournament in Oklahoma City. That's where we'll be in a couple of weeks. A lot of good softball in the Big 12. Oklahoma ranked number 5 in the latest poll coming out today. Nebraska and Oklahoma State also in the top 25, and Texas A&M both getting votes in the poll.
Anytime they talk about Oklahoma, they talk about the offensive power.
Popped out, and the play made down along third base by Jamie Smith in defensively at third base for the Aggies. And Kat Richter is retired. As you take a look at Jamie Smith, a senior from Modesto, California, making the play right over by our cameras. And it'll bring up Marlo Hanks for Texas. She was hit by a pitch and left on base in the first inning and popped out to the shortstop in the third. Freshman from Kingwood, Texas, trying to get something going here for the Longhorns in the bottom of number 6.
Longhorns really dry offensively. They've got to try to get some type of connection. But that's where you really have to give credit to Amy Vining, because her pitching has just been so strong. And she said earlier that she was inserted or came in for Kara Weichel. She's really done a terrific job.
Hanks fouls off the first one, and it's 0-1. Shadows have gone away, and the light's starting to take a little effect here at McCombs Field in Austin. 1-1, 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and Texas A&M leading Texas 5-2. There is a deep fly into left field, but coming over to make the play, Holly Hayden in foul territory. And it's out number 2 here in the 6th inning.
Once again, just a great play by Holly Hayden. Longhorns with the long hit, but good job to get herself in position, keep her eye on the ball, and get the out. Now they've got 2 outs. Defensively, the Aggies looking very sharp.
Autumn Easton steps in for the Longhorns. She lined out to shortstop in the first inning, grounded out to second back in the 4th. And she comes to the plate with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and her team trailing by 3 runs. Pitch misses, and it's 1-0.
And they tab her as a left-handed slap hitter with exceptional speed and quickness.
Amy Vining doing the job here for Texas A&M and coming in relief of Carol Weichel. The second team All Big 12 a year ago with a 1.26 ERA through 11 shutouts. She's been bothered by a lingering wrist injury throughout her career. Coming out of high school in Deer Park, Texas, though, the top pitching recruit in the state of Texas, her ERA 0.24 her senior season. 21-4. She struck out 270. Those are Nolan Ryan-like figures.
Speed, power, you name it. That's pretty terrific.
But she's got a 3-0 count here on Autumn Eastis in the bottom of the 6th inning.
And this would be such a huge win for the Aggies. Of course, they're on a tough stretch right now in Big 12 play on a 5-game road stretch. So it's important. If you can try to pick up or steal a win on the road, that certainly is going to help your team out.
3-1 to Autumn Eastis. Amy Vining now has faced 17 batters and retired 14 of them. She has really come on and done the job for the Aggies. She misses there, though, with a walk, and Autumn Eastis is aboard with 2 outs in the 6th inning, and Trisha Tatro will step to the plate as Texas tries to get something going here. Tatro popped out to second base in the 2nd inning and popped out to shortstop in the 4th inning.
A good job by Selena Collins to get out there and visit with Amy Vining and get back on the same page, give her some good calls, and try to get this inning over with. They got 2 outs.
Just the 2nd walk of the game for Vining. And Autumn Eastis aboard at first base with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. One and 0 to Tatro. Eastis thinking about running down at first base. She has stolen 8 bases in 9 attempts on the season.
And she's very aggressive. They'll send her.
The 1-0 pitch in there for a strike, and it's a ball and a strike to Tatro. Tatro, a junior from Tucson, Arizona. Again, was a first-team all-conference a year ago, or rather 2 years ago, and last year struggled. Batted just .213. Trying to recover that form. She puts that one into the air into shallow left field, but once again, Holly Hayden getting a lot of business out there in left field, and she makes the play to end the 6th inning. We head to the 7th with Texas A&M leading 5-2.
Check your vision. Why don't you cover your left eye for me?
Okay, one glasses off first.
On, please.
TZX.
Thompson Country Ford. JC put a little country in the name to remind folks that everything really is simpler in the country. And this little Navasota dealership has won Ford's North American Customer Excellence Award 9 years running. You'll find everything to look at that you'd find at the big stores north and south of Navasota. But it's the way you're treated while you're looking and after you've bought that's won them all those awards. Thompson Country Ford in Navasota, where country values will always get you the best deal.
Austin, Texas, along with Alyssa Walker-Campbell, Brian Brinkley, and this stadium is pretty crowded, and so some of the people, whether they tried to get a ticket or not, are watching from the outfield fence for free. Became kind of a tradition over at Dish Falk Field, the baseball stadium, and now they're doing it here at the softball stadium. Carmen Martinez has come in to replace Charla Moore on the mound. Charla Moore giving up 5 runs and 9 hits through 6 innings. You see Carmen Martinez's numbers. She's a senior from Fairfield, California.
And she leads the Longhorns in strikeouts, one of the most improved players on this Texas team. But she's got great movement around the plate, as I said earlier, good velocity. She loves the drop ball, and she's just a terrific pitcher.
And Martinez with 110 strikeouts and 119 and a third innings on the season. She is really more of a strikeout pitcher than Charla Moore. Crystal Martin leads off the 7th for Texas A&M, and she takes a ball and a strike. Crystal Martin struck out twice and grounded out to shortstop.
And she was the University of Texas's. Actually, she was their top returning pitcher, and she lowered her ERA from a 3.25 to a 1.20 as a junior. So she's very reliable and just a diligent worker.
The 3rd best ERA in the Big 12 a year ago, and the 2nd lowest opponent's batting average at 170. One stretch of the season, she threw 26 straight scoreless innings.
Yeah, she had a terrific 99 season.
But she loses Crystal Martin. And Martin aboard with a walk, and it brings up Selena Collins, who has been the hitting hero for Texas A&M today. As you look at Charla Moore, again gave up 9 hits, struck out 6 in 6 innings and 5 runs, but the big blow was by this batter, Selena Collins, the 3-run double in the 5th.
Oh, and Selena was just terrific, but Charla Moore there, looking at that last shot, she just looks pretty dejected and feels like maybe that she let her team down, but just a great effort on her part, though.
strike to Selena Collins, the freshman from Glendale, Arizona, and the leading hitter on the Texas Aggies. 3:31 coming into today. That pitch gets away from Marlo Hanks. And heading down to second base is Crystal Martin. A little in the dirt, but Hanks was not able to handle it, and it's 1-1, and now with a runner on second as they rule it a wild pitch. And it's 1-1 to Collins. He lines that one foul down the left field line, and it's 1-2.
Great upper body strength by Selena Collins. Good job of just getting a piece of it. Nice cut there by Selena. If she can just straighten that out a little bit. She's pretty prolific at the plate, batting a .331. She's had 4 homers this year.
Has a good athletic heritage. Her dad played football at Northern Arizona, and her mom played tennis at Northern Arizona, but she strikes out there as Carmen Martinez gets her first strikeout of the game. And Collins is retired for the first out.
Carmen Martinez, one of their top pitchers here at the University of Texas. That's got to give UT a little bit of confidence. They want to get this inning over with so they can get up to bat and get some runs.
So it brings up Tiffany Esters. Esters popped out to shortstop, lined out to left field, and sacrificed. Takes that one for a ball, and it's 1-0. Esters 2 years ago led the Aggies with a .293 average, and last year was a second-team All-Big 12 selection. That one misses, and it's 2-0.
Well, Joe Evans just said that this is a player that's just highly competitive. She wants to do whatever is necessary to win. An intense player, very vocal. She's a terrific leader.
2-0. She got all of that one, but a little bit foul. It won that one completely out of the stadium foul, and it's 2-1. Carmen Martinez on in relief of Charla Moore, who went 6 innings for the Longhorns. Gave up 5 runs and really didn't get a whole lot of help defensively. 4 Longhorn errors tonight. That one grounded to Keely Franks down at third base. She throws across the diamond and gets Tiffany Esters for the second out of the inning.
And one of the things that I'm noticing out of Carmen Martinez is that she has a lot of power at the mound. Those pitches are coming in very, very fast and forcing the ground ball. And Texas doing a good job with the pickup, the nice stretch on first, and most importantly, the out. They've got 2 outs.
And it brings up Kelly Ferguson. Ferguson has singled twice and grounded out to third base. Scored a run in the 6th inning. She takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Ferguson, a sophomore from Sugar Land, Texas, a transfer from Texas San Antonio, where she batted .396 with 9 home runs as a freshman, was the conference newcomer of the year. The 4 errors we talked about by Texas, the most by a Texas softball team in 18 games since a 3-2 victory over Cal State Fullerton. We talked about that was the start of that great 17-game stretch. A lot of errors, but they're still able to get that victory. But they're going to have to come from behind to get the win here tonight with the 4 errors.
The errors by Texas, but the Aggies capitalizing on those errors and getting the runs.
And Kelly Ferguson pops out to Marlo Hanks to end the 7th. We head to the last half inning. Can Texas come up with the runs to come back and take the lead over Texas A&M? We will find out. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning with Texas A&M leading 5-2.
Well, my name is...
Insurance adjusters handle a lot of claims. They're paid to settle as fast as possible. But if you're injured, it may take months for you to get better. Don't get caught in the shuffle. Get experienced legal advice before you even think of settling.
Fred Davis, a board-certified personal injury lawyer, helps injury victims. Your first visit's free and there's no obligation. Call Davis & Davis. We're here to help.
Spring fever is in the air, and with the change of the season comes huge spring savings at Douglas Nissan. Hi folks, Tracy Baker here for Douglas Nissan. Come check out the all-new redesigned 2000 Sentra. Just $239 a month, and an estimated 33 miles a gallon. Or how about the Nissan Frontier? Only $215 a month and an estimated 30 miles a gallon. Remember, our prices will not be beat. Douglas Nissan, where customer satisfaction is #1.
In Austin, Texas, with Alyssa Walker-Campbell, I'm Brian Brinkley. You take a look at left fielder Holly Hayden, making several nice defensive plays for the Aggies tonight.
Just a great job in left field, keeping her eye on the ball, the nice catch and the out, and certainly giving the Aggies the boost. She does it once, she can do it twice. Just beautiful positioning by Holly Hayden, but I think also behind the plate, or at the plate, that is, she's been terrific too.
Tiffany Valdehueza steps in for Texas. Valdehueza, a junior from Hercules, California. She'll be followed by Lindsey Gardner and Audrey Hendricks here as Texas down to their final at bat and their final chance to come back against Amy Vining and the Aggies.
And as you can see, the Longhorns, their strategy is going to be slap hit the ball, get on base. You're going to see probably a lot of bunts.
That pitch in there for a strike, and it's 1-1 as we take a look at Amy Vining's numbers. She came in the second inning and has held Texas to just 2 hits. Again, no strikeouts, but she has put the ball in play, and her fielders have not let her down tonight. Valdehueza at the plate, batting .274 on the season, no home runs, 7 RBIs.
It's kind of hard to get a piece of that pitch because Amy Vining, boy, she's changing things up. She's become that power pitcher again and is just throwing them very strong. You got to think those are being clocked in at about 60.
1-2 to Valdehueza, leading off the bottom of the 7th inning. Longhorns trailing the Aggies 5-2. And she just holds back there, and it's 2-2. Amy Vining trying to close out this game and get her first ever victory over Texas. She came in 0-5 career against the Longhorns.
You talk about a Jekyll Hyde team. Of course, they lose 2 on the road at Baylor, and then just coming from behind here at the University of Texas. Anything can happen in Big 12 play.
And it's a full count on Tiffany Valdehueza. And for Texas A&M, next up for them, Texas Tech, a doubleheader this weekend. Or I should say at Oklahoma State this weekend, and they close the season
at Texas
with
Tech.
Texas Tech in College Station.
And boy, you need that type of momentum going in against Sandy Fisher's team at Oklahoma State.
That pitch misses, and Valdehueza is aboard to lead off the 7th with a walk. And Lindsey Gardner will step in for Texas.
Softball is all about pitching in so many aspects. You've really got to maintain your level of intensity and concentration. A&M, the Aggies, they definitely have the lead, but now the Longhorns got a runner on base. And with Lindsey Gardner at the plate, boy, she's a terrific hitter. Obviously their leader, batting .412.
She tries to lay down the bunt, pops it up, and Selena Collins unable to make the play. Gardner singled and scored in the first inning, walked and was stranded in the second, popped out to second base back in the 5th. She's got a great opportunity here, leading the Longhorns in hitting on the season at .412 coming into tonight. And her team trailing by 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning with no one out, and Valdehueza aboard at first. That one's a ball, and it's 1-1. Valdehueza has attempted 5 stolen bases on the season and has been successful 4 times. That one's lined into left field, and it's a base hit for Lindsey Gardner. Valdehueza will hold up at second base. And so the Longhorns have something going here in the bottom of the 7th inning as the tying run will come to the plate on the single by Gardner.
How the tables can turn so quickly. Great patience illustrated by Lindsey Gardner. The nice slice, good placement. Now she's on base. 2 runners on base for the Longhorns. They are not out of this game by a long shot.
Just the 3rd hit given up by Amy Vining, and this her 6th inning of work. But Lindsey Gardner aboard once again with a 2-for-3 night. And at the plate for the Longhorns is Audrey Hendricks.
Well, Texas is getting hits off of the power pitch. When she's throwing hard, they're starting to get some really hits off of it. It's when she was throwing that changeup where they started hitting those pop flies and those ground balls.
We talked about Gardner's 9-game hitting streak, and this game making it 10. Not only does she have a 10-game hitting streak, but she has gotten 2 hits in 8 of the last 10 games. She has really been on fire of late, batting over 600 in those games. That is a strike to Audrey Hendricks. Hendricks has singled twice tonight and lined out to, I believe, the defensive star of the night for Texas A&M, Holly Hayden, in left.
If you're the Aggies, that's got to be a major concern for you to have Lindsey Gardner on base, because she is so aggressive. She'll try to steal, as you see.
Ground ball scooped by Crystal Martin, but dropped by Lisa Clam at second base, and they call her out. They call Lindsey Gardner out at second base, and the Texas fans don't like it. Clam dropped the ball on the toss from Crystal Martin. But the umpire, Jerry Bark, called it an out, and Connie Clark now is coming out to talk things over. I don't think she liked that call too much, and Lindsey Gardner is still staying at second base, but she has been called out.
Connie Clark trying to go out there and appeal the call, but it never works. Regardless, Lindsey Gardner, the call will stay, and so that she should be out.
Take another look. Crystal Martin made the scoop, tosses to Lisa Clam. She really never had possession of that ball, but it's going to go against Texas, and the Longhorn crowd does not like it.
Certainly a tough call on your home field for Texas when they're trying to catch up. They're down 3.
And only 3 umpires in college softball, and it might have been that Jerry Bark really just did not have a good angle on it, but he's kind of where a second baseman might be, between first and second base, and probably a good 20 to 30 feet from where second base actually is located, and he made the call out. So Gardner is retired. Hendricks is aboard on the fielder's choice at first base, and Valdehueza over at third. Texas still with a tying run at the plate, represented by Keely Franks.
And Texas still in great scoring position.
She grounds to Crystal Martin. The throw over in time for the out. A run will score as Valdehueza comes in. But Texas A&M glad to trade the run for the out, as they are now 1 out away from the victory. It's now 5-3.
And this is where Amy Vining's really got to buckle down. As you can see, she is such a methodical pitcher, really takes her time, rubs a little dirt between her fingers, and certainly thinks about one pitch at a time, one batter at a time. They're in a great position with 2 outs.
Audrey Hendricks down at second base. The batter is Jody Reeves with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th, and Texas trailing 5-3. Hit into shallow right field. Tiffany Esters is there for the out, and Texas A&M goes on the road and defeats the Texas Longhorns 5-3 here in Austin. After giving up 2 runs in the first inning, Amy Vining comes in replacement of Carol Weichel and does the job over the next 6 innings. And Texas A&M gets the victory. 5-3, the final here from Austin. We'll come back with some final thoughts and talk to Texas A&M head coach Joe Evans after this.
Check your vision. Why don't you cover your left eye for me?
Okay, with glasses on first.
On, please.
Thompson Country Ford. JC put a little country in the name to remind folks that everything really is simpler in the country. And this little Navasota dealership has won Ford's North American Customer Excellence Award 9 years running. You'll find everything to look at that you'd find at the big stores north and south of Navasota. But it's the way you're treated while you're looking and after you've bought that's won them all those awards. Thompson Country Ford in Navasota, where country values will always get you the best deal.
A&M goes on the road and defeats the Texas Longhorns, splitting the season series, winning it 5-3 here today. 9 hits, no errors for the Aggies. The Longhorns with 6 hits and 4 costly errors. But the story tonight, I think, Amy Vining coming in, 6 great innings of relief for the Aggies, and the big hit offensively, Selena Collins, the 3-run double in the 5th.
Well, Amy Vining obviously doing a terrific job, but I also think of Holly Hayden. I thought she did a fantastic job, too. Some really key catches, and I guess now we're going to go ahead and join Joe Evans.
Texas A&M head coach Joe Evans joining us, and Coach, congratulations on the victory. A great performance by Amy Vining coming in the 2nd inning and really doing the job, and then the big hit by Selena Collins tonight.
Yeah, Amy Vining was so sharp tonight. She did a great job. She handled the pressure and really pitched well, and Selena Collins really came through in the clutch for us, and we were due for a win right there. That felt great.
Well, Joe, of course, this was a big win for you guys, your rival school, but talk about how important it was because you guys were coming off 4 losses in a row. This was huge for your guys' team.
It was huge, and we didn't even talk about a rivalry tonight. We didn't even care who we were playing. We were so due for a win, and we were struggling, and our confidence was a little down, and so we said, hey, forget who we're playing. Doesn't matter. It's the Longhorns. Let's just get a win, get us back on a winning track in the Big 12. So I couldn't be more pleased. I thought our kids came out aggressive. Selena got the big hit, but Lisa Clam lays down a nice drag bunt. We get some hits together. I thought Holly Hayden did a great job at the plate, making things happen. But I like that our kids came back from the 2-run deficit, never gave up. And it's a tough place to play, and they've got a great team. So that's a great win for us. We haven't beaten them in 3 years.
How important was today's win with the Big 12 Conference Tournament less than 2 weeks away? You need that type of momentum.
We really do. We needed a win. We just needed a boost in our confidence. You know, we dropped 2 to Baylor yesterday, which was really discouraging. So this is huge for us. We go now to Oklahoma State this weekend and play them, and this will help us. This will give us a big boost in our momentum and confidence, and we feel good about ourselves, and I like our depth and that our pitching staff can recover and come in and help us out in that situation.
Well, congratulations, Coach, and we'll see you next week in College Station.
Thanks.
Texas A&M head coach Joe Evans, and the Aggies victorious tonight 5-3. We'll take a break and come back with some final thoughts after this.
Subscribe to Baseball America, the #1 college baseball publication. If you